Here we are, people. Match day 1 predictions of the Asian Cup. We had fantastic support for the group stage predictions video. Can we get some more support on the match day 1 predictions? I want to hear your predictions in the comments down below. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as we go through every single game of match day 1. Match day 1, the opening game. Of course, it is the host Qatar going up against Lebanon. A game where, Qatar's preparation has been horrendous for this game. They had a friendly game. They lost to Jordan 2-1. Lebanon had a game. They lost to Saudi Arabia 1-0. Qatar are the hosts. They have to get off to a good start. They have to have a showcase game. Lebanon, they got nothing to lose in this game. We got nothing to lose. If we get a point, that's going to be a good result for us. Well, then we got to beat the other team. So I think that's Lebanon's strategy. For Qatar, you got to perform. I know it's been horrendous the last couple of months with preparation and Queiroz getting sacked and Marquez coming in, but Qatar got to perform. I think they're going to win this game. It's not going to be convincing. 2-1 Qatar. The next game, it is Australia taking on India. Now for India, the key for them is don't get destroyed. Just keep it low scoring, a 2-0, because they have to think themselves, if we're one of the third best placed teams, we can qualify to the round of 16. So I think for India, limit the amount of goals, keep it 0-0 as long as possible. But for Australia, they're going to be frustrated. We saw Australia, though, when they're in the counter-attack, if India lose possession of the ball and Australia are able to counter-attack, they're very good at that. Set pieces, we know Harry Suter, the guy's unbelievable. I think Australia, it's going to be a comfortable victory for them. India will fight for any sort of result, especially a point. I'm going 2-0 to Australia. The other game in Group A, China versus Tajikistan. Talk about a horrible preparation. China lost to Hong Kong 2-1. Now, I know they got a couple red cards in the game. 2-1 to Hong Kong? Oh my god. Tajikistan beat Hong Kong 2-1 in a friendly as well in January. And this is Tajikistan's first ever game in the Asian Cup. They're going to come with sort of passion and nothing to lose. Really just want to showcase themselves in the biggest stage possible in Asia. For China, I know I had them second, people. I'm not really confident with them right now. I think they're coming into this tournament. All right, they might even just play on the counterattack against Tajikistan. I did have China finish the second in this group, and I think Tajikistan are going to have a good game. I'm going to go 2-2 between China and Tajikistan. The other game in Group B is Uzbekistan taking on Syria. Now, of course, it is now confirmed almost likely that Smordov is not going to be playing at the Asia Cup, which is huge miss. The all-time goal scorer for Uzbekistan, the captain. So now Sergeyev, he's got to step up big time. I just really like this Uzbekistan team. I think they can just score goals for fun. Defensively, like I've talked about before, not the greatest. But against Syria, who, let's just be honest, Syria, okay, they had a 2-2 draw against Malaysia, 1-1 draw against Kyrgyzstan. Good results, but are they the toughest opponents in Asia? No. Uzbekistan are that tier just below the top teams in Asia. Japan, South Korea, Australia, in my opinion. And I think Uzbekistan are going to comfortably win this game. I'm going to go 3-1 for Uzbekistan. Then we got Japan versus Vietnam. If you're Vietnamese, I would pray. Because Japan have now scored in their last 4 games, people. Listen here. 6-1 against Jordan, 5-0 against Thailand, 5-0 against Syria, 5-0 against Myanmar. They ain't playing around. Oh, they saying, we want to win, but we want to destroy every opponent. And that's what Japan are doing right now. Vietnam just lost to Kyrgyzstan 2-1. Iraq 1-0, of course, back in November. They have a lot of injuries heading into this Asian Cup. They're starting goalkeeper. I think the center back as well. So many injuries. I really feel bad for Vietnam. Japan are just on fire. I'm kind of worried what this scoreline could be. And I think Japan are going to win 4-0. Sorry, Vietnamese people, but I think the game you really want to win is Indonesia. Japan are just too damn good. 4-0 for Japan. Then we have the UAE against Hong Kong. Now, obviously, this is Hong Kong's first Asian Cup game in a very, very long time. And for the UAE, they're just going to keep up with their momentum. Defensively, a strong team. Ali Makbout getting that 1 or 2 goals. It's the recipe for success for the UAE. They're going to keep on doing it, and I think they're going to do it against Hong Kong. Hong Kong will, of course, try and keep it 0-0 for as long as possible. But UAE will get that 1 or 2 goals, and I'm going to go 2-0 for the UAE. Then we have Iran versus Palestine. Now, Palestine are not a bad team, people. They just lost to Uzbekistan 1-0. They lost to Australia 1-0 back in November, and they were actually quite competitive in that game. I think this is not going to be as easy as people probably assume. On paper, of course, you look at the teams, you look at Taremi, Osman, Jahanbash, and these players, and you're like, okay, this should be comfortable for Iran. I think Palestine are going to give a tough game. If they're losing only 1-0 to Uzbekistan, I didn't watch the game. I did check out the game against Australia. I was like, man, Palestine, obviously with everything going on, they're just playing with just no fear, nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. But Iran, just too much quality. Might be a little bit nervous at times. I think Iran will win 1-0. Then we have South Korea versus Bahrain. Of course, South Korea, another of the huge favorites for this Asian Cup. They just beat Iraq 1-0 in a friendly. Bahrain are just coming off a 2-0 loss against Australia. You know, South Korea, they just got so many ballers. Lee Kang-in, Heung-min Son, Hwang Gi-chan, Kim Min-jae. I can go on and on and on. But Bahrain are a difficult team to play against. Obviously, now it's now 2 losses in a row for Bahrain against UAE and Australia, 2-0 in respective games. And I think they are a tough team, but you're going up against South Korea. I think it's going to be the same scoreline. South Korea, 2-0. Indonesia versus Iraq. Of course, these two teams played against each other back in November, and it was a 5-1 win for Iraq. Do I expect the same thing in this game? Maybe not, because Indonesia are going to play with a lot of spirit. They've just come off 2 losses against Libya, 4-0 and 2-1. And Iraq, of course, lost to South Korea, 1-0. But like I said, South Korea are one of the best teams in Asia. And I think it's going to be sort of a similar thing here where Iraq are going to keep possession. Jesus Casas wants to play that style. Indonesia will hit them on the counterattack. But if you watch the game back in November, I mean, some of the defending from Indonesia wasn't the greatest. They got to do a lot better in this matchup. In this game, I think it's going to be 3-1 to Iraq. Next up is Malaysia versus Jordan. Can Malaysia get a result in this game? They obviously just drew 2-2 with Syria, and Jordan are just coming off a walloping of 6-1 by Japan. Not a bad thing because we know how good Japan are. Although the day before, Jordan did beat Qatar 2-1. I think Malaysia can get something. If there's going to be a game where Malaysia can win or draw, it is this game. And Arif Aiman, I checked, he did score in that game against Syria. This kid is such a baller, 21 years old. I think he could be getting a move soon to Europe. This is the tournament where if you're Arif Aiman, if you want to make a move to Europe, this is the tournament to shine. I think Malaysia could get a result here. I think this is going to be high scoring. Jordan are not great defensively. They played some good football. Malaysia, we know, very attacking side. Defensively, give a lot of easy mistakes, but can score a lot of goals. I think it's going to be 2-2. Then we have Thailand and Kyrgyzstan. Now, Thailand's preparation for this Asian Cup is nothing short of a mess and a disaster. One of their best players rejected to come because he had to go train with his Japanese club. I mean, come on. Really? That player, I cannot remember the name right now. You guys can remind me in the comments. Should never play for Thailand again. It's as simple as that. Now, we obviously know Ishii hasn't had a lot of time with Thailand to prepare for this Asian Cup. Kyrgyzstan, if I'm them, you know, they obviously beat Vietnam 2-1 in one of the friendlies in January. I think they got nothing to lose, really, Kyrgyzstan. They've obviously got experience from the last Asian Cup, made it to the round of 16. I like the way this team is going heading into this Asian Cup, whereas Thailand are just a mess. They're just a mess. I feel like it's going to be a mess here. Even though I did have Thailand finishing 3rd in this group, the preparation and everything going around it is not great. We've seen this countless time in major international tournaments. If you don't have the right preparation and there's a lot of things off the field that are not working in your favor, it affects the on-field performances. I think Kyrgyzstan is going to actually win this game 2-1. And the last game, it is Saudi Arabia taking on Oman. Now, Saudi Arabia obviously beat Lebanon 1-0 in a friendly, and Oman beat UAE 1-0 in a friendly. I did talk about this in the rankings and in the predictions video. Oman are a very stubborn team where they don't give up a lot of chances. They don't score a lot of goals. So their kind of goal in this game is win 1-0 or get a point. That's going to be the goal for every team in this group against Saudi Arabia. Just get a point. And then you just need to beat one of the other opponents, and you're off to the round of 16. While for Saudi Arabia, good defensive record, clean sheets in a row against obviously Pakistan, Jordan, and Lebanon. I think they can continue that momentum into this game. I think Saudi Arabia not going to be super convincing, just going to do what needs to be done in order to win this Asian Cup. And I'm going to go Saudi Arabia 2-0 against Oman. There we have it, people. Match day 1 predictions in the book. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. And remember, we're going to be doing match day reactions every single day of the Asian Cup. So remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for Asian Cup coverage throughout the whole entire tournament. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. And until next time, adios.
Explain something.